Open banking basically means that the monolithic banks sort of fall apart into multiple modules connected through open interfaces. So one example, for example, is that a bank offers access to accounts through APIs and then others can consolidate on that API. I find this particularly attractive, for example, for a small and medium enterprises where you, for example, have a little ERP service company that accesses the bank accounts automatically. This is hard to say. It depends basically on the role the banks want to play in this and how well this takes off. We will see how the clients react. We will see how the banks react. I mean, banks themselves can also use other banks' APIs. They can offer APIs that do a little bit more than the regulator asks for. In the most negative scenarios, the banks will lose all contacts to the clients and will be just back office shops. In the best scenarios, they can offer much better services and more profitable services themselves. I think so. I mean, typically what you see is the hardest thing for a new entrant in banking is to gain clients. At least in the markets I know, clients are pretty sticky to their bank. And like this, you can actually offer a new service while people keep their accounts with the old bank. Well, that depends a little bit which scenario will come to pass in the end. I would say if the existing banks lose the client interface, obviously the front offices are very challenged. I would say otherwise, if the banks transform in a good way, I think the back office is very challenged. Just think about it. I mean, open banking, if it develops the same way as, for example, reservation systems in the airline industry, means that there is a lot more volume they have to handle at the same cost, which means a lot of technical innovation needed and a lot of process innovation needed. Well, as an individual, I may get better services. I may get integrated services with others. So, for example, I may get banking services without seeing that there is a banking service behind it. So, for example, I go shopping and my bill is basically handled in the background and it's automatically paid. I don't see anything. Or, for example, say as a taxpayer, I may have a service that basically aggregates all my accounts and fills out my tax declaration. That said, I believe the ones that will profit most are small and medium companies. They get more services on top of the classic banking services to handle all their financial needs. I mean, that's at least my hypothesis. I can. I mean, in the first module, I'll explain the key tool in open banking. That's an application programming interface. This is an interface between two programs. The program that is sitting with a third-party provider and another side of the API sitting with the bank. So this key technology is the first thing I'll introduce. And then when we go further in the second module, we'll talk about security aspects of all of this. I mean, this whole process still has to remain very secure and has to be very well managed. And then in the two other modules, I'll discuss what it means to develop software in such a setting. And in the last module, I'll explain what it means to operate software in such a setting, which changes quite a bit. I mean, banks in this context become little internet service providers with completely different expectations about scalability and availability than they have today. That depends on the level you want to understand it. I would say the ambition in my chapter is that you understand it to the level that you are a good discussion partner in an open banking project. In order to produce software yourself and design solutions yourself, probably you have to go deeper than we can go with the limited time budget we have here. It's been a super interesting experience. I've never been a program director in a video course or in a remote course, which makes it quite different from a typical university course I'm very used to. I would say the advice is really to take your time to prepare. I think it really takes a week, even if you know the field very, very well. It's different to prepare for a video lecture than it is for a normal lecture.